Hello and happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. Wow, I turned on my mic and I took off my headset. I thought I went deaf for a second. Happy Monday, everyone. And thank you so very much for tuning in to 98.3 FM The Life. You're listening to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness. And of course, I'm your host, Marty Jalove, and I come at you every single Monday night at 7 o'clock to talk about your job, your career, your vision made clear, the skills that you hone for the business that you own, the ups and downs, the smiles and frowns, where you're at and where you're bound. And if you miss any of today's episode, you can always tune in later in the week when the recording will be on Bacon Bits with Master Happiness anywhere you listen to podcasts. As you know, every Monday night, I'm on a quest to bring you the industry best. And this Monday is nothing less than the absolute best. My two bouncing baby boys here. I had to steal that line from you. I've got Nate and Luke. Luke, what mic are you on? What number is that? That's number 7. Let's turn that on. Say, test those mics. Yeah, that's great. What about you, Nate? Are you working over there?
I'm always working.
Fantastic. This is incredible. So how are you guys doing? It's been like a month since you've been on the show, but a little bit less. We were able to spend Thanksgiving together. How are you guys doing today? Anybody?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Sorry. The camera's on Nate, so Nate's got to answer.
I'll talk for you.
Yeah. No, thanks, Luke.
now you're there. All right, go for it. How have you been, Luke?
Oh, I've been doing great. I'm just really excited to get into the business talk, and it's been a good month. But I'm ready to get back to it. I'm ready to find my bacon.
I'm loving your radio jargon there already. You're just feeling it. You're part of the radio community. What about you, Nate? How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm too blessed to be stressed, Marty.
Oh, wow.
Prices are down and the stocks are up, man. You could not ask for anything better. We're going into the holiday season. It's December 8th already. Can you imagine? It'll be May before you know it.
Who are you two guys? All of a sudden, now you're Mr. and Mrs. Talkie.
Right.
Okay, this is beautiful.
We go by Mr. and Mrs. Radio.
All right, There you go. Excellent. So you guys, you know what we've been doing all year, and I'd love to continue it, but I also want to pick your brains on this, what we're going to do next year, because I want you guys to come back constantly, because I have a great time. Love seeing you guys, being on the radio with you two. So all year long, we have been doing excerpts from the book, The Legends of Sales. All right.
By the one and only Marty Jalove.
There you go.
Let me tell you, a riveting read.
Yeah, really? And how many of those rivets have you read?
Well, I mean, 12.
12 so far. All right.
12 so far.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. So what we do every month is we talk about the legends of sales. And we pick different people that some of them are the obvious choices, like Seth Godin, which we might actually touch on a little bit today as well. But we also talk about some of these obscure ones, some of the people from the past that you might not necessarily consider a legend of sales. And it's more like the legends of sales and marketing. Today is one of my all-time favorites, which he finally got a musical about him not too long ago. And today we're going to be talking about P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum, the one and only, the king of humbug, the master of just lying. Well, I guess that's one way you can put it, Luke.
Some might refer to him as the ultimate salesman, but I like to refer to him as the ultimate showman.
Nice.
The greatest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, this is nice. So Luke, you just came right out and called him a liar. So tell me what are your thoughts on P.T. Barnum?
Well, you yourself called him the king of humbugs.
Yes.
And humbug, the term itself, actually does mean, I believe, a fraud.
Yes. Deceit. Right.
So really, we were saying the same thing. But yeah, P.T. Barnum's whole thing was that he would basically parade around falsities, or at the very least unique people, like strange people. And he was not especially deceitful about the fact that he did practice in hoaxes.
Yeah.
He actually said himself, he was like, yeah, I think it's a completely legitimate thing to pull hoaxes if the audience gets something out of the hoax, which I think is interesting.
Well, because it was also something I read up on him, that he considered this the noblest art. He called this, and that was the idea of, sorry, I'm jumping around here. I got to learn how to use these buttons. The noblest art was just that, was the pursuit of truly making other people happy. Okay. And what it was doing was just being able to say, I'm going to deceive you. I'm going to trick you on these things. And I love the fact that I'd really like to dig down more into that history to find out, was he very honest about the fact that he was deceiving people? Was he tricking it? Because I think a lot of people want there to be more out of life. And that's why he brought these curiosities out there, these things that were bigger than reality, things that you just couldn't believe and you had to see. And so he didn't care if truth got in the way. All right. And so I'm not saying that we should learn to lie about everything, but I do like this idea of the pursuit of happiness. And I always lean back on, it was Mark Twain's quote of not letting the truth get in the way of a good story. Okay. But there is something. So Luke, you just said it, that he was honest about his deceit. That's what you had said. Was that something that he talked about, that he said to people, that he was purposely being deceitful?
He did at some point. Now, the big question you have to ask is, like, where in the chronology was this? Like, how many hoaxes did he pull before he was like, yeah, some of these are fake?
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. But I do think there's something to be said about, even if he did get like sort of backed into this philosophy, I think it is an interesting argument that he made, where he was like, is a hoax really harmful if the person you're doing it for is getting something out of it? And he actually was principled. He didn't say you can lie about everything. He actually was anti-medium, because he did not believe in spiritualism in that manner.
Wow.
Or medium
Wow.
work. He said that cheating people when it came to the matters of dead loved ones, he thought that was a bridge too far. And he even went as far as to offer someone $500 if they could prove that they could communicate with the dead. And obviously no one did.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know who else did that? I'm throwing it to you, Nate. What are your feelings on this? I don't know how much research or how much knowledge you have on P.T. Barnum.
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm a thorough researcher. My research goes the extent of I trust Luke to have all the facts and data.
No kidding. I'm loving this.
And I show up with a little bit of pizzazz.
That's right. You're
No, but
also
I
a
like-
specialist in knowing what page he appears in the
Right.
book.
Yeah. That is what I do. I mean, I'm here to read the book and tell people where they can find P.T.
Nice.
Barnum. No, but I like the idea of it, because very simply, now people were paying him for an experience.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And they got the experience. If he was using his hoaxes to cheat people out of the money, and if they were walking away going, I just paid him X amount of money and I got nothing out of it.
Right.
That's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But him doing it and them still walking away with a quality product, like it's no different than going to different than going to a movie. And if you went and watched Avatar and you paid good money at the theater and then you walked away going, that was a completely unrealistic movie, I didn't care for that at all.
Right.
I don't believe that man plugged his hair into a dragon and flew through the skies. That's not realistic at all. You're not paying for that. You're not paying for the realism. You're paying for the experience, the enjoyment, and all that. It's no different than that.
Okay. All right.
You know, I think that was his thought process. They were paying him for an experience. He provided an experience. What happened in the experience? Like, it's no different than an illusionist or a magic show. You don't go to that because you think that they're actually performing magic. You go to be enjoyed and be wowed, and
So now let me ask you, I'm going to throw a tough one by you, and I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say, is what about professional wrestling? Do you believe professional wrestling
That's the realest thing you've ever seen.
That's what I thought you were going to say. What about you, Luke? What do you think about professional wrestling?
I mean, professional wrestling, like, I don't think they are being, I don't think they're actually being fraudulent if they are, like, if there is the implied knowledge. Now, this is another one where I have to ask about the chronology, because how long into professional wrestling did it take for them to be a little above board about it and be like, we're faking it?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to study.
That's what I mean, is because even if right now you go to professional wrestlers or and the way they promote, they don't come out and say, we're faking it. This is pretend.
No, not in a promotion, but that's the character. That's
right.
The performance. If you talk to them, backstage or out of the arena, they're all going to be like, yeah, so, this was a really cool move that we had to coordinate, like all this, because it's an art.
It's a performance.
Okay.
I mean, and there's a degree of performance that goes into all of that. Like, you don't just bounce off of ropes and land on somebody perfectly without something. Again, it's the experience thing.
Okay.
And it's our job as consumers or people who are wanting to be entertained. We can decide, what we believe to be fake or real. But the real question is, were we entertained?
Gotcha.
You know, and if we're paying for the entertainment, it doesn't matter.
I like that. As long as we're paying for the entertainment. Hey, Luke, I just got a message from someone. They couldn't hear you. Switch to mic 6 over there.
That's interesting because I can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear me in my.
Yeah. So
hello.
All right. So hopefully we'll see if they come back and say yes, they can hear.
Hello.
We can hear you better.
Yeah.
All right. Either way.
Either they can't hear you at all because now you have 2 mics to speak into.
That's right.
So
now we hear an echo.
Maybe it's me. Can you, Luke? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, excellent.
I can hear you.
I can't hear Marty though. I haven't heard a word he said this entire time. Yeah,
we are all over the board.
No,
I can hear him.
That was performative. I can hear Marty.
That was good. That was good. And you know what? You didn't even say you were lying. I knew it, and I was entertained when you said it. So thank you.
That's why we're here.
I like that. All right. So hopefully we're going to hear back to see if we can hear you better. If they can hear you better on set.
Well, I said some important stuff there. So.
Right. Yeah. We'll just circle back for a quick recap.
Well, we're going to, hopefully the recording picked it up and maybe, if we get it on YouTube. That was really good stuff because I was impressed by you. All right. So I guess the bottom line is, do you, if you're going to deceive the world, in other words, sit behind those oddities, those lies, those false truths in order to entertain, how do you get across this idea that it's okay that I'm fooling you without somebody coming back and saying, hey, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this? Because there were probably a lot of people. There might be a lot of people still today that think professional wrestling is all completely 100% legitimate. Okay. And there are probably some people who thought once it kind of got out that it wasn't legitimate, they felt a little deceived, a little foolish. All right. So how do you draw that line? What do you think? What do you guys, you got opinions on that?
I mean, I think part of it goes into your marketing, your target audience, and everything like that, right? Because I think if you're very specific and careful in how you advertise what it is, and, you know, being an oddities show or being whatever, you want to draw on the type of people that are there to be entertained. You're not trying to get fact checkers and truth seekers, just like, you know, again, the idea of a magician being, you know, you don't want the guy in your audience that's like, actually, I saw the girl go backstage and there's identical twins and the two of them and they switched places. And like, no, that person, they didn't come to be. So I think the crowd or whoever you are selling your experience to, you want it to draw them in. And no matter what, you're going to have, you know, you're going to have the truth seekers and the fact seekers. And in this day and age with technology and everything, it is a lot harder to pull a good con or something like that. And so if you move away from, you know, that sense of either, you know, that it being a con or whatever, and you actually are targeting people who want to be entertained. Like there's an illusionist up in Lake Geneva.
Okay.
And I went there. I had an excellent time.
Sure.
I understand what I'm getting myself into. I was there for the performance. And I had an awesome time because I knew what I was getting into. I'm not sitting there trying to figure out how he did the tricks. I'm simply delighted that he had a motorcycle up in the rafters, right? And so it's and so it's how do you try to market it to the people like me who are going and want to go out and have an evening where they are entertained or amused, and you steer away from the people who are going to feel like they are cheated. So it's just knowing your audience and who you're targeting and marketing it to.
Okay, I do kind of like this. I guess the bottom line for me, I'm thinking is it's what do I have to gain or lose? Like you had said, we came here for entertainment. And so with P.T. Barnum, a magic show, watching professional wrestling, the idea was we came here for entertainment, right? And so as long as we're being entertained, what's the loss, right?
Right.
Trying to switch the camera. Nobody else is on. You're going to be on the rest of the evening.
That's perfect. That's why I'm here, actually. I came to be on. So
there we go. Luke, you're on. There you go. There you go. So, Luke, what do you think about that? As long as it's for entertainment's sake, and even if there's some deception there, I mean, because if you mix this whole thing up of the oddities shows, okay, because there are still those Ripley's Believe It or Not, and so the idea of even the title Ripley's Believe It or Not, it's believe it or don't believe it. Could there be something in there that's fake? And if there was, do I call fraud or do I go, well, yeah, I was entertained. That was pretty cool.
I think it depends, because for me, I would say that Ripley's Believe It or Not is starting to venture into, I'd prefer if it was real, purely because when I go to a Ripley's, that's more of a museum. to me. It's not as much of a performance.
Right.
And I think it's because I think the difference for me is a magician, a wrestler, or like just anything that's like a pure like performance. There is still something to admire there. Like you can admire the charisma or like the ability to sell it. Versus with something purely
the athleticism of the athletes, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Something being sold as fact.
Versus, I think for like a Ripley's or like a museum that might just lie to you, that doesn't quite have the same admirable quality to me. Where it's like you're just lying. Are you guys hearing this buzzing?
I am hearing this buzzing.
And I'm being told we can't hear you on those mics either.
Great, good to hear.
Yeah. So we might have to stop talking. Right, if you move over to the other side of the studio.
Right.
All right, we're going to try this. Those are terrible mics. Don't ever go over there.
Gotcha.
Okay. Or just sit in Nate's lap.
The two of us, we could share a mic. Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. All right. Excellent. Oh, I would pay extra to see that. All right. So, the guy went to market what he was selling. And I think the idea is, I'm glad, Nate, that you compared him to a magician where you're knowing wholeheartedly, this guy's tricking me, but I can't figure out how he's tricking me. It's just plain entertainment and I'm enjoying it. And so there maybe is something to the curiosities like that. Isn't this really cool? And I know there's something about the legality of parody that if it's such an outlandish parody and it's done to the point where we know that this person, like if I made fun of a celebrity, but the parody is so funny that it's outlandish that we know that that celebrity would never do that, would never be caught in that act, etc., then it's done for humor's sake. It's okay. It's when it gets too close and you're putting the character or a celebrity in a bad position and you're hurting their reputation and it's reasonable and could be considered true. That's when it becomes illegal. Right. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I made that sound really good.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you could have fooled me.
All right. So anyway, getting back to this. So we're going to, as you guys know, the reason the show is called Bacon Bits with Master Happiness is because we know that everything bacon touches becomes just a little bit better. And it's not just food. It's about everything in life. But of course, we are not talking about the bacon for chewing.
Oh, no, Marty. We're talking about the bacon for doing.
You got it. Thank you so much. Here, Luke's all upset. He's like, man, I monologued like crazy. Better be there.
Twice.
I'm still thinking you got one more in you. You got one more in you. It's coming. It's coming. So the bacon today, what we're going to be doing is we usually use the acronym BACON. It's kind of a loose outline for the show. And we're going to be talking about P.T. Barnum and what we can learn from him as salespeople and marketers. And so the B stands for be bold and unforgettable. All right, without a doubt. I mean, think about this. P.T. Barnum. What year was he around, Luke? You know that kind of stuff.
Well, the 1800s. He was
mid 1800s. 1810. He was born. Yeah. So and he started his first job as his first. He was kicking around like when he was 12. So figure. So 1822. So early 1800s. So he's still memorable. So B is be bold and unforgettable. A is attract with authority and scarcity. All right, which you got to figure out. His whole idea was just that. He came across as the authority. He came across saying, I travel the world to get these oddities, these curiosities to show you, right? And you only have a limited amount of time to see them. You can only see them here. He made the entire, the whole process, the whole procedure, the event so scarce that I only have a little bit of time to do this. And this is between when he switched from his museum to the circus where he actually traveled a lot more. Okay. C is create curiosity and conversation, which without a doubt, there's few people who create that much curiosity than this guy, P.T. Barnum, just creating that and getting the buzz out where people are constantly talking about, oh my God, this thing we just saw there, it can't really be true. Okay. O is offer overwhelming value. And that touches on what you were talking about, Nate, is it's got to be something where I get some value out of it. And everyone was going there for the sake of entertainment.
Right.
Okay. And that's why he was the greatest showman. All right. And of course, N is narrate to their emotions. Everything he does has a story behind it, a detailed story, a long story, a story that touches our emotions, makes us fearful, makes us happy, makes us sad, makes us angry. Everything we're selling, whether it's a product or a service, whether it's a curiosity in a circus tent, whatever it is, we have to create a story that touches upon people's emotions so that they have to see it. They feel like they can't go on another day without having that experience. That's what's so important. That's one of the best things we can learn from P.T. Barnum. So we get in here. So Luke, I'm going to throw it back to you because you seem like you've really studied on this guy. You know him back and forth. And so Luke, what are some of the things? Oh, that's the wrong camera. We're going to go back over to here. There we go. What are some of the oddities he came up with? Some of his most famous?
I want to say the most famous, like, pure hoax he
Yeah.
had was the Fiji mermaid.
Yes.
Which is where he essentially stapled a monkey's top half
Yes.
to a fish's bottom half.
Right.
And said, "Look at this animal we found. Look at this unique creature.
Mermaid. Yeah.
We've never seen it before." And we haven't seen it before. No one's stapled a monkey to a fish before.
Right. Yes, that's so true. So he didn't really lie there.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I think it's cool because Nate, you ever heard of the Fiji mermaid?
Well, about 5 minutes ago. That's about it.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's really cool because I'm pulling up my phone here and there's a cool picture because you're right. Yeah. It's a small monkey and a fish. So the thing is only, it's only so big. All right. Nate, what about you? Do you know of any great P.T. Barnum curiosities or any great curiosity from the past? We'll tell you if it's one of the great P.T. Barnum ones. There's famous ones there.
I'll make sure you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Luke will be like, wrong. That wasn't him.
That's right.
Honestly, I don't.
That's right. Yeah. The bearded woman.
Right.
You've heard of a bearded
absolutely.
Woman? And then it was the tattooed man. That kind of stuff. It was that kind of stuff that was so early on that people they had never seen these kinds of things before. So anything and everything and anything that he said about it, like the giant elephant, Jumbo, and he brought this a big elephant and just claimed it was the largest elephant in the world. Just said it, right? And
funny.
Right, exactly. And you're like going, I have a funny feeling if I tried that, I'd be seeing jail time, right? But again, for entertainment's sake, when people were like, they have nothing else to compare it to. Okay. That's what made it so fantastic. And there were people about General Tom Thumb, okay, where he found a very small boy, right? And just claimed him to be the shortest man in the world. All right. And what's cool is afterwards, over time, as we are able to communicate with people all over the world, like right now, because of the internet, we can communicate so quickly. Back then, there was nothing. There was no way to communicate. You'd have to go there and take his word for it. But so it's really neat because nowadays you get the Guinness Book of World Records, which is from the Guinness beer company. All right. And so what they do is they look through this and they find people. They have the official curiosities, the tallest man in the world, the tallest woman in the world, shortest man, shortest woman, whatever, all those kinds of things that maybe those wouldn't have even happened if it wasn't for someone like P.T. Barnum in the beginning.
Right. And furthermore, less about the Guinness Book of World Records. It's an interesting point because he does use a lot of medical curiosities.
Yes.
In his act, conjoined twins.
Yes.
Giants, dwarves. And all of these things, obviously the point is he is a little exploitative. He's showing them off in this way. But you also have to remember, these are the 1800s, Civil War era America. This is the first time a lot of people are even becoming aware that there are people who can grow to 7 feet tall.
Right.
People who don't, who stop growing down here and people who are conjoined. So a lot of these things where people are like, hey, I don't know about this. We should do research into this. We should figure out what happens to this. So in a way, even though it is certainly exploitative, he is sort of saying look at this. Look at these people who actually exist and live and breathe. And that's not hoax work at all. They were real people who were like
Right. And I do want to drive home the point, like you said, he did exploit these people, but you did, because there's many of these people that they talk about where he goes, oh, this was this, this boy with like the werewolf boy with hair growing all over his face. I don't know if that was one of them, but many of these places he would find them and then buy the child from the parents. Okay, and say, I'll take care of him. And he's a curiosity. And you just sit there going, I'm going to sell my child to the circus, right? And it seems terrible now, but maybe at that point in time where, like you said, during the Civil War, there was so much poverty going on. Some people were like, I think my child is either so short, my child has a medical deformity, something like that, that maybe that kid's going to live a better life. I have a funny feeling they didn't necessarily lead a better life.
A lot of these people, if you look into the details, they led pretty depressing lives.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. That's also just the reality. They were living during the Civil War.
Yes.
It was rough.
It was rough. Nice. All right. No, I agree with you. But anyway, we're not going to debate on whether taking advantage of humans is a good or bad thing. I think we're all going to agree that it's a great thing. But the thing we can learn is be bold and unforgettable. Okay. Because when you think about this all the way from the 1800s, I mean, this is 200 years ago, and still the man's name is known. All right. And he's part of, he ended up later in life. He met up with Bailey, whatever the guy's name, Bailey, to join Barnum and Bailey's circus. And then later the Ringling Brothers and put it all together. So it became the Ringling Brothers, P.T. Barnum and Bailey and the Ringling Brothers Circus. So it all came together, and it all started with this guy doing the Curiosities, right? Because I don't know, I had never heard of anything about Bailey or the Ringling Brothers until they were connected with P.T. Barnum.
Right.
Do you know of any history about these guys in the past before that?
I mean, no, but
there probably is some. Obviously, there's some history there, but it's really interesting. But what I'm just driving at, the point I'm trying to make is, yes, maybe they did some amazing things. They did acrobatics. They did more animal work, whatever it was. They did clowns, whatever it was that they did really good, that they were able to partner together. There's something to be said about the fact that P.T. Barnum was the most bold and unforgettable, because his name and what he did truly changed the world in a lot of ways. Not 100% good, but changed the world. And we can learn from that is this idea of any product you have, anything that you sell, any business that you're running, you've got to find a way to become bold and unforgettable. And when you do that, you are going to make some enemies. You are going to get some people who don't like you. And you have to realize and remember that not every customer wants to buy from you. Not every potential customer out there is going to be a customer of yours. You have a very small niche group of people you're going to sell to, and you've got to be bold and unforgettable in front of them and not worry about trying to please everyone. You can only please a handful of people. And out of 8 billion people in the world, a handful of people is still a hell of a lot of customers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it just goes right back to that, understanding who you're marketing, and some of the other salespeople we've talked about
completely
just have really said, know what you're trying to sell and who you're trying to sell it to, and just hone in on that.
There you go. So now, believe it or not, even with all the mic controversy, we're already at the bottom of the hour. So we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we're going to come right back. We're going to double check, make sure all the mics are working, and we're going to talk a little bit more about P.T. Barnum and the 5 lessons that we as salespeople and marketers should learn and could learn from him. So please stay tuned.
Hey, I am Mark Shanahan, listening to my show from 1 to 3. I am playing you up, only but goodies, every Monday after Chuck Manners, here at WRLR 98.3 The Light.
Hi, this is Ronald Curtis Grace, host of the Ear Candy Emporium show right here on 98.3 FM The Life. Join us every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll share some great music, have a laugh or two, and get your weekend started on the right note. That's the Ear Candy Emporium show, the home of sweet musical treats, every Friday afternoon from 4 to 6, right here on 98.3 FM The Life. Or you can catch us streaming live at 983thelife.com. See you then.
Tune in Sunday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. for the Bus Stop Blues, your favorite stop along the route for blues music, interesting guests, and updates on the local music scene. Bus Stop Blues, 7 to 9 p.m. on 98.3 FM.
WRLR, 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
And we are back. Thank you so very much for tuning in to 98.3 FM, The Life. You're listening to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness, and I'm your host, Marty Jalove. Today, we're talking about one of the legends of sales and marketing, actually. One of the greatest guys from almost like 200 years ago, just about 200 years ago, P.T. Barnum, and the name still rings true today. Everyone has heard of that guy and the kind of things he did. We're not necessarily saying we agree with everything he did, but we can learn a lot from him. And so we're applying a little bacon to it. So today, our bacon is this. B is be bold and unforgettable. A is attract with authority and scarcity. C is create curiosity and conversation. O is offer overwhelming value. And N is, of course, narrate to their emotions. So we talked a little bit about being bold. And obviously, the guy was bold in what he did, how he came to market, how he promoted himself. But I want to get into this attract with authority and scarcity. And so I want you guys to think about this is I got my boys here, Luke and Nate and Luke, all of them are here. I want you guys to think about this. Is there a brand that you think of, a brand you buy that you think, wow, the way that they promote themselves, they really come across as the authority. Like they are the know-it-all brand. They're the intelligent brand. They're the ones I lean on because they know what they're doing. What do you think of that? Boy, I love throwing questions at you guys like this because it's an opinion question, so it doesn't matter. You could say it's Dairy Queen. I don't really care what you say.
I don't want to.
Oh, how about this? Because they're not on. We're having a really great day today.
Just keep my mic off.
Exactly. All right.
Well, I don't want to lie. What's there to gain in business by lying?
That's so true. Maybe. Yeah, we talked about the first half of the show. Yeah, exactly. All right. So, but what is just a brand that you trust because you think they know what they're doing? I think that's what it comes down to. Wow, you don't trust any brands.
No.
All right. What about you, Nate? What's a brand you trust because you truly believe you know what's doing?
Well, I mean, it's not a brand that I trust for myself, but I know many people do trust. So we're going to go for a little bit of low-hanging fruit, and that would be the brand Apple.
Nice.
Right? But you can think of Apple or you can think of Microsoft, right? The two of them giants.
Yeah.
For me, the brand that I trust almost wholeheartedly is Google. Right.
Nice. All right. There you go. I love that.
They have established themselves even like, and you think about it. So you got like Microsoft and Apple, right? And people are going to go one or the other or both, depending on what it is.
Right.
But Google, the closest thing is what? Yahoo or Bing?
Right.
Nobody's using Nobody's using that unless they accidentally click the wrong button on their computer. Right. And so Google has put so much work and
I think they're like almost 90%, if not more, of the market for search.
Right. And so they have established themselves above everybody else, and they're constantly innovating and pushing, and you don't see very many advertisements for them because they've reached such a pivotal point. Microsoft and Apple still have to like sell their products and stuff. The only thing you really see from Google is them saying, here's a new thing that we're doing.
Yes.
But even that, you think about Google Sheets, the way that they've taken what Excel is and all the Microsoft products, made it their own, made it still compatible with Microsoft products, everything that they have done to just really cement them that it's somebody, if you Google something, people are going to be like, oh, well, yeah. And again, like it pulls from everything in the websites and everything like that. So it might still be, you can get false information from Google.
Right.
But Google's not saying everything on us is true. They're saying this is all the information that is out there, and it's up to you to decide what you do with it and how you use it and what you trust, and here's how to cite the sources. But I mean, their implementation of using AI to quickly source a bunch, you Google a question now, the first thing that pops up is the AI summary of millions of websites, and they go, look, this is what we found. And so they have just continually cemented themselves as a trusted brand. And if you were to say that you used it as a source, a lot of people aren't going to be like, oh, you try to go in a room and be like, well, I looked this up on Bing.
Yep.
You're going to get laughed out of the room,
So I'll ask you another one here. This is Luke. I'm throwing it to you. What about? Do you have a famous, a favorite pizza brand or a fast food place that you swear by that you like? Like if you had a choice, like I'm going to go with my favorite pizza. I'm going to go with Giordano's. Okay, I'm going to throw it out. Yeah, because I like a little deep dish. pan pizza. Okay. And so to me, I look upon them as the way that they make their pizza I like. So I view them kind of as the authority there. So is there something in those lines? Anything about a shoe brands? What about that attractive shirt you're wearing? I know you only wear Master Happiness shirts.
That is, it's a brand not like any other. Not, I'm not a picky guy. I can't lie. I'm not much of a pizza snob.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
I don't trust any brand because I believe it's more.
What about larger brands like Nate is mentioning? What about something
Google
like
was a good one.
Yeah, Google was a great one. What about Amazon? Or is there something Disney movies? Like is there a movie channel you like? Wow, you just don't like anything.
No.
Wow, you were so good the first half an hour. I'm going to take you off the air right now.
I'm
throwing it back to Nate. Nate, tell me more about Google.
No,
but
you don't
have to tell me more about Google.
I'm thinking more locally, right? And I say that they're still a large company, but Red Wing shoes, right?
Oh, okay.
They are. There's a ton of different work boots out in the market, everything like that.
Yep.
But anybody that you talk to loves their Red Wings, and they're a comfortable shoe. They're not the cheapest.
Nice.
But the quality and the craftsmanship that's put in, the way that they fit your feet, everything like that, people immediately want Red Wing shoes.
I like it.
And it's just noted right away. If you go Red Wings, I've never heard somebody say, "Oh, Red Wings, that's a garbage pair of shoes."
Right.
Everybody's like, "Oh, maybe I don't use them because they're not in my price range, or I don't have a need for that quality of boot or whatever." However, they have established themselves that in the work boot industry, across the board, they are used and respected.
Okay, I'm liking that. So it gets back to this, the attract with authority and scarcity. And I think from a brand standpoint, I think it's really important when we promote ourselves. It's very important for us to put a lot of testimonials out there. Let people know what other people think, because people like having someone else help them make a decision.
Right.
We really like that. We like to be able to say, all my peer group or this entire group is all saying they're giving them 5 stars. When you go to buy something, and let's just say you go to Amazon or wherever and you go to buy something and you got 2 different things you're looking at. They're both similar. And one has 5,000 reviews and it's 4.9 stars, right? And the other one's got 30 reviews and they're at 2 stars. You're going to immediately lean towards the one that you're thinking is the authority. Wow, thousands and thousands of people bought it, liked it, loved it. That's the one I'm going to go with. So the idea is they immediately get focused, they get positioned in your mind as the authority. And I think it's really important as a brand to continue to do that, not only for your brand, your company in its entirety, but for the individual products. Get testimonials, get endorsements, get celebrity endorsements, etc. Because the more we hear from people we respect, the more apt we are to buy that product. Now that's the authority. This also goes with scarcity, is give them a reason to buy right now. You have to promote it in a way to say, this is not going to be around a long time. Okay. This is one of the reasons that car manufacturers, they build a nice car and they come up with a new model every year, because they're people are sitting there going, oh man, I'm going to wait a little bit longer and buy the 2026 model. Or which year did you buy? Oh, don't buy that. Don't buy the 2024. The 2023 is so much better. They end up listing it like that, and they only leave those available for a very short period of time. Okay. You take a look at, I know, Nate, one of your favorites is Taco Bell. Okay.
Oh, love Taco Bell.
I know you do. They're supposed to, within the next year, come out with 10 new menu items.
Right.
10 new menu items that what they're going to do is they're going to test the market. They're only going to be out there for a short period of time. So if you want them, you got to try them. If you love them, you got to go back again and again and again. And when they see the popularity rise, then they possibly make it a regular item.
Right. And it takes a while for those menu items. Like you look at nacho fries, right? I love nacho fries. I still love nacho fries. Still get nacho fries. But they came out and they brought them out and then they'd get rid of them. And when they get rid of them, you're like, oh, man. And you actually find yourself going to Taco Bell like, maybe they're going to bring them back. And they bring them back for a little bit. And that now it's a regular menu item. But they waited, I would say, I think they waited 3 or 4 years because they created that scarcity,
there you go,
that demand. And I mean, to me, it's almost disappointing. If I pull up to the Taco Bell window and there isn't some new item, I'm like, what?
Now, why me?
What are we doing? What are we doing, Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Come on, get it together.
Got to see if they'll do the Fiji mermaid at Taco Bell. That would be a good taco.
Oh, Fiji mermaid's fish sticks. Let me tell you, it's nice. coming this summer.
Now we're talking. All right, so Luke, I'm going to give you another chance here. You ready? This is C. C. You get in the camera. What are you doing? You're hiding behind your mic.
I'm right
The
here.
world wants to see you. All right. So C is create curiosity and conversation. All right. So you're the P.T. Barnum expert of the day here. So
Sure.
create curiosity and conversation. That's an obvious one. How do you think what could we learn from the way that P.T. Barnum went to market that modern day salespeople, marketers, business owners could use? What's something about that?
Well, he found a lot of very real people, as we talked about all these curiosities, and he didn't just present them and say, look, this is all we know about them. He fluffed them up.
Yeah.
Did quite a bit of editorial work to say, like, this is a performer. This is General Tom Thumb. That wasn't even his name.
Right.
It wasn't even Tom.
Yeah. I didn't know it wasn't Tom.
George something.
Okay, interesting.
Charles Stratton here. I've got it right here.
Nice.
But it's about. It wasn't just about having the thing. It was about the presentation of it.
Yeah.
And that's what made him such a showman.
I think it's interesting because just the way the demonstration that Nate just did when he talked about these nacho fries, that what he did was it was curious enough. There was something different. You go back there, you're curious to find out what they're offering, and you start a conversation. So you start talking about people. And I think it's really interesting about anything, any business that you run, any business like that at all. You've got to come up with a way to do something curious where people are like, I just want to know a little bit more. I just need to know a little bit more. And then I'm going to ask questions of people. I'm going to talk to people. And then when I learn a little bit more, I want to become the expert in that. So I want to share what I learned about this business with other people. And isn't it fun when you suddenly hear something about a business, someone's doing something? Whether it's a sports team, let's say it's Apple's coming out with a new product, whether it's Taco Bell coming out with a new product, whatever the deal is, when something is introduced new from a company and we learn about it, we want to share it with other people. It just sparks a conversation and we just want to get talking with people about it. And I think that's what's really important when a company can come up with something that they find curious enough, different enough, where they differentiate themselves from other people, and they create something that lights a spark within us, and we want to chat about it. That's when their sales can really explode. Okay, so let's jump over to O, because now we're looking at. We spent so much time working on the mics here. We've got about 15 minutes left. The O here is offer overwhelming value. Okay. And I think this is where we get into this. In the book, The Legends of Sales, of course, I talk about this as being one of the most important things we have to do is know your customers, share great stories, and over-deliver. You have to give them more and more and more. And Luke, I think I had told you this story. Nate, you'll really like this story. When P.T. Barnum started, what he did was he had these oddities and curiosities, and he had a massive tent. And I don't know if it started with a tent or the museum. It was a building, a museum. And he charged so much, and it might have been like a quarter to get in. Okay. Back then, a quarter meant something. But he charged a quarter. You got in, and you could stay in there as long as you wanted to look at everything. But then shortly afterwards, he found that people were staying in there like too long, and he couldn't let more people in. So he had to come up with a way to get people out. All right. And you talk about this idea of the way that he thought. He created a new exhibit called the Exodus, right? And put a nice curtain around the whole thing, made it really cool. And as people walk through it, they realize Exodus means exit. And people would leave the building and they couldn't get back in. All right. And you sit here going, now I wouldn't call it over delivering value, but I love the way that the guy's mind worked because he could see a problem, whether it's a problem his customers were having, a problem that the community was having, or a problem his business was having, and try to come up with a way to twist it and turn it and create something much bigger and bolder. And I'm sure there were plenty of people upset about it, but I'm sure there were also some people who laughed about that going, I can't believe I fell for that.
Right.
I just paid my quarter, walked through and immediately went to the Exodus, but this idea of think of something and over delivering. And we've talked about this at other shows. We will always remember something about every transaction we make, whether we're buying gym shoes, buying a meal, having a plumber come to our house and fix something. We will always remember an emotion that person made us feel. And it's up to us to over deliver so that the thing that we remember is a positive. So that the thing we remember, that emotion that we feel, we're going to share with other people. we want us to share good stories. We don't want people to say, oh my God, he came in 15 minutes late. He was really sloppy fixing my sink, or the food was undercooked. The waiter was rude to me. We don't want to remember that. We want to remember they're going to do the bare minimum, but then they're going to do something above and beyond, so that we remember that. That's why when a Chick-fil-A, everyone remembers how extremely friendly the people are. And they bend over backwards. They over deliver on every chance that they get. And so that's what's really important. All right, this last one is we're getting down to, we still got some time, so we're good here. Before we get into this, is there anything that you guys can think about, a company that you work with that you would say really does a good job over delivering? And I want you, if you can come up with someone, tell me. If not, we're going to jump to this and maybe come back to that. What do you think? I'm looking at you guys. They're deep thinkers here.
Deep thinkers.
I can smell
Yeah.
it. The wood is burning.
Well, you got to stop turning Luke's mic off. He's been talking this entire time.
I know, man. It was good stuff. All right, so let's just jump into this. Maybe this will spark something. N is narrate to their emotions, and I think this is what's really important. Is we've talked about this so many times, over and over and over again, that people buy based on emotions and they justify it with logic, and that's almost 100% of the time. Some people sometimes say, I need something, like this is an emergency. I need this very quickly. All right. And they have to make a logical decision and just buy it. Maybe sometimes it's an impulse item. I just want to buy it because it brings me some joy. I don't really need it. But if you need something and it's available to you, that's not necessarily an emotional purchase. But the other things we buy in life, the reason that I have a vehicle that's red as opposed to any other color is because I liked it. I wanted it to be red. That's the emotional trigger for me. Right. The reason we buy certain foods versus other things is there's an emotional connection to us. Right. It's not just, I'm not buying food just to fill my belly. I'm buying food that I like the way it tastes. I want something specific. Okay. So there's some emotion involved in this. And so what P.T. Barnum was good, and this is what you were getting towards, Luke, was he created these incredible stories, these narrations that built so much curiosity that you were almost at a point of going, I've got to go see this.
Right.
And I just imagine back then in the early 1800s, when you would see a poster come and see the world's shortest man, General Tom Thumb. And I'd be going, come on, I don't believe it. This is a hoax. There's something, no, I'm not. And then, they're like, but it's a quarter. It's only a quarter. What do you mean it's only a quarter? I work in a mill. That's a month's pay. Okay. It's a quarter. Go in there. I got to see him. And then when you see him, party is probably like, oh, I don't believe it. I do believe it. And they introduce him. He's a general, right? And just going on and on and on and building this story, because then when I leave, I didn't just leave and say, I saw this really short guy.
Right.
That wasn't enough. To be able to say this was a general and I forget where he had said he was a general from some country or whatever, but building this story. There was a woman, they said one of the very first Curiosities was this woman they said she was 161 years old.
Yeah, she was the maid for George
Washington, right? So he came up and the woman was not 161 years old, nor was she a maid. Okay. But he just said, hey, you look like you could be. Let's create this story. All right. And again, we're going to get back to the idea of there are certain professions we look at, like professional wrestling, magic shows, curiosity shows, that may be fabricating, stretching the truth, bending the truth are okay. But when we're actually selling a product, it is not okay for us to lie about this. We've got to be truthful about it. We've got to find those things that make us special and create those incredible stories about it. Remember a while ago, we talked about Jay Peterman. All right. And this was the guy who writes these incredible stories of adventures for all of his clothing. You read the story and you want to become the hero of the story. And in your mind, you say, the only way I can become that hero is to buy that coat, to buy that hat, to buy that tie. I've got to buy that because I want to be that guy. Okay. And that's that power of storytelling. Okay. And I think it's really, really important for us to understand where our company fits in, where the story fits in with our company. All right. So with that, any thoughts on that? The over delivering, or a great company with a great backstory. Anything? You guys are doing a great job. I'm throwing it to you. What about like these places? It's I think it's Bombas,
Bombas,
the sock company, right?
yeah.
And I think they're really important. It's really cool because what they end up doing is they talk about where they get the materials and where the money is going. Like you buy one pair of socks from them, they donate a pair of socks to somebody who needs socks.
Right.
Okay. I always say I need socks, that's why I'm buying them. Right. So,
I think when you think about over delivering, though, a company that has continually gone above and beyond, both in convenience, timeliness, quality of the product, everything, it's got to be Amazon, right?
yes.
Because not only is it very easy to sit on your phone and buy something, but they also make the return process
Incredibly easy.
very simple. You've got the drop off points. You've got that. You don't even have to most of the time. You don't have to put it back into a box. They're just like, just give it back to us. Get it to the UPS store, wherever.
Right.
We'll have a kiosk there to print the label. You don't even have to talk to anybody.
Right.
And so for people, it has really helped them. Being a consumer like me, I'm a person who wants something right now. And so for the longest time, I'm not going to order something online. If I want something, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy it so I can have it in my hands right now, and I can feel it and I can touch it and make sure that I like it. And I got it. And Amazon has went and just positioned themselves in such a way that even now, somebody like me who has it, I'm like, okay, well, if I order it within the next 30 minutes, it'll be at my house by the time I get home from work.
Right.
And if I don't like it, I can return it very simply.
I know. Right.
And so they've pushed so that over delivery, the quick delivery, the ease of the returns, my beautiful wife, your daughter, loves buying things on Amazon, right? And
same here.
A lot of instances in life, you have people that just go crazy and buy stuff. I think she returns 95% of the things that she buys.
Right.
But it's because she'll get it and we'll look at it and be like, no, and then return it again. And it's just the ease with which to do that makes us more inclined to buy on it. I mean, I'll never forget. I had something I wanted and I was like, I need to get this phone screen. And I was sitting in my office at work, ordered it, and it was on my doorstep before I even got home. I didn't have to go to the store, and I still had it in a timely way. So the steps they're taking to go above and beyond is what's continuing to move them ahead. So much so that LTL companies and places like UPS and FedEx are actually competing with them now, just in speed, because nobody can keep up with the rate that they are able to deliver.
Right. I'm loving it. I love the fact that now they do this whole thing. I buy something, they give me multiple options because I get free shipping because I'm a Prime member. And it says, we can deliver it to you like in the next 30 seconds if you want. Or if you want to be green, let us deliver it tomorrow. We'll give you a credit, a virtual credit if you just let us take our time and we'll deliver it in like two or 3 days. And I'm like going, yeah, I'll take the virtual credit. So I love the way that they do this. And I was thinking about this whole idea. The other thing that's great about Amazon is that they let people like any of us sell on their line. Like we sell, obviously, the book, The Legends of Sales, is available on
Excellent
Amazon.
book. Really great book.
And what's cool about it is I don't have to do anything. They handle everything for me.
Right.
They print the book, they ship the book, they take care of everything. Sure, they take their cut because they're doing all of that, but I never have to touch the book if I don't want to. But more so when I sit here and I say, if I was going to say I wanted to set up an Amazon store and I wanted to sell on Amazon, knowing that selling on Amazon is that offering overwhelming value. I can get it to you so quickly. If you don't like it, you can return it, etc. Think about how do I become successful on Amazon? Because if I decide to sell something, and let's say I decide to sell a microphone, okay, that's similar to this, and I decide, I've got a bunch of these microphones, I'm going to import them, I'm going to sell them on Amazon. How do I become the one that you're going to choose? And some of these things we have to do is be bold and unforgettable. What am I going to do to stand out above all the other people who are selling this microphone on Amazon? I've got to come up with some way to stand out, right? I've got to attract with authority and scarcity. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to run these sales. That's why the Black Friday sales are so popular. It's for a very short period of time. You can get this absolute best price. And I'm the authority by writing enough information to make people understand that I know more about microphones than anyone else, right? So I'm going to put more than just a couple of words up there in a picture. I'm going to put maybe a video. All right. And that's what gets us up to the create curiosity and conversation. I'm going to start putting a whole bunch of stuff in there, more curiosities, giving them reasons and more reasons to use my microphone and how my microphone solves those problems, making them understand like, oh, this is actually pretty good. This is more than I had anticipated. I'm going to create new ideas to say, this is why you should buy this microphone for Luke. And this is why you should buy this microphone for Nate, and make you sit here going, I never thought of that. Wow, that's a really interesting thing for us to do. Okay. Again, it's the offer, the overwhelming value. The N is the narrate with with emotion. I'm going to create these big stories about this is who you could be if you owned this microphone. You always talked about your own podcast. With this microphone, you can start doing it. You back that up with this whole idea of becoming, again, back to A is the authority, is back that up with those 5,000 testimonials, those 5,000 5-star ratings. And before you know it, people look at this and go, well, there's 16 different microphones I can choose from. But this guy comes across as the authority. It's big and bold. It's shown off. He's got a lot of 5-star ratings. He's got a great story. He's made me curious. That's the microphone I want. So what we can end up doing is we live in a world now that anyone can start their own business on a platform like Amazon, but it could also be whatever you're doing, wherever you're working, whatever you decide to do. You can still paste playbills up on the wall, right, for your next comedy show, Luke. You can still do it that way. You don't have to be online doing everything, but you still have to follow along with these ideas of being bold and unforgettable. You attract people with authority and scarcity. Authority gets them in the door. Scarcity gets them to say yes. You create curiosity and conversation so that your people start talking about you, so you don't have to do all the advertising. You offer overwhelming value so that they never get buyer's remorse. And then finally, in order to do all of that, you narrate to their emotions. You write these stories that touch them in their heart, remind them of their childhood, remind them of the person that they want to be and how your product or service brings them there. That's how you end up winning them. And that's how P.T. Barnum became so famous. Okay. So with the last couple of minutes there, what I want to do is you guys, anything else about P.T. Barnum that you wanted to share? I'll tell you what, look at this. I got 2 sheets here. I'm gonna give both of you. You can give one to Nate. Maybe you guys spit out a couple of these oddities that you like here. I'm gonna throw it over to Nate. There you go. The camera's on you. Look at this. I know you just got the paper. What's something there that's worth sharing?
I mean, him making his way into being a mayor is pretty impressive.
No kidding, right?
Because it's tricky if you are a showman, because like
a charlatan.
He was a businessman,
yeah,
right? But someone who is kind of off in the entertainment industry, a lot of times when you move into politics, it's almost seen as you making yourself less reputable. But it says that he was able to sell himself in such a way to the people around him.
Yep.
That he was looked at in such a way that people like, he is going to make educated decision. He's going to make, he's going to take care of the town that he is overseeing. And so there's a sense of credibility there that people were actually able to believe him. Now, whether he was believable or not, the thing is he was able to sell himself well enough that people trusted him to be in charge of their entire city.
I'm liking it. I'm liking that you brought that one up. Luke, we're technically over time, but I'm going to give you time. Give us one last wrap up. What's your favorite P.T. Barnum thing?
I think I got the age is what I'm going to say first. He was arrested multiple times for libel due to his sensationalized promotion.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So that answers the question we asked in the beginning. I'm glad that popped up after the show ended. All right. All right. So that just drives home the idea that why don't we just start with telling the truth when we're advertising, start promoting ourselves correctly. It's okay to be fantastic and create some curiosities and oddities, but be honest with the public about the fact that they're not necessarily true. They might be based on truth, but you've bent the truth in for the sake of entertainment. All right. So again, thank you guys so very much for tuning in to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness. Thank you, boys, for joining me. Again, it's been a fun little past hour. Hope you guys had a good time. Good.
What an excellent time.
You were on a roll.
Right. Yeah.
That was, all right. So I want to say ta-ta for now. Next week, we're going to be talking with Tiffany is going to be back in the studio, and we're going to be talking about self-confidence. So for the rest of you out there, Thank you very much, and stay tuned in to Bacon Bits wherever you listen to podcasts. Bye bye for now.